What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, look, Kevin Durant made a comment at a press conference when asked about All-Star Weekend and the effort that the older guys put up, that the NBA veterans put up during the All-Star break, right? And Kevin Durant basically said, well, why are you calling out certain guys, the American guys, when you don't call out the European guys? And so Rob Parker and on the Odd Couple and him and his co-host reacted to that, right? And I kind of get what Kevin Durant point is. Like, if you had, why you not call out all players, right? Not just the American players, but the European players. Because on the one hand, when you're trying to say that, okay, European players are now, the face of the league. European players are like the best players in the league now, amongst some of the best players. A lot of people say the top 5 players in the NBA are Europeans, right? So why can't they be held to the same standard, in my opinion, as the American players, right? And so Kevin Durant seems to feel like there's a double standard. And Rob Parker disagreed. He says, and I'm gonna just go ahead and play what Rob Parker says about Kevin Durant's comments.
Well, Rob G, I will pass it over to you. The NBA All-Star Weekend is
it's the topic of conversation.
Absolutely.
Man.
I went and got my credential. I'm going to be there all weekend. I'm sorry about that.
I'm still upset about my situation.
Monty got turned down as well. So you guys,
what is that all about?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe because I've been covering the league since 1987. I don't know. Rob G?
I don't know. It's going to be some smoke when I see somebody.
There's going to be some smoke for Kevin Durant. That's for all sure, because after their game last night, they lost to the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, Aspire LLC, and all them boys went in there and put belt to ass on the Rockets. And after the game, of course, the All-Star game is coming up in about 72 hours. All-Star weekend starts in about a day and a half.
Yep.
And everybody's talking about, like, hey, how are we going to fix the All-Star game, this new form? What are we going to do? And ultimately, what it seems to come down to is if guys just play hard, we'll have a great All-Star game experience. Well, Kevin Durant was asked about that last night, and he seemed to take it kind of personally. Take a listen.
I saw you saw the rosters were revealed and said you're on that old heads team. Do you think the old heads will compete and try to win the whole tournament here?
You should ask the Europeans if the world team if they're going to compete. I mean, because we look at Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic now. Let's go back and look at what they do in the All-Star game. Is that competition? So we haven't questioned what they've been doing, but we're going to question the old heads and the Americans. But these two dudes out there, Luka and Jokic, they don't care about the game at all. These dudes be laying on the floor. They shoot from half court, but you got to worry about the old heads playing hard. I can read between the lines, bro.
Yeah.
All right, so now I don't have a problem with what Kevin Durant says if it's true, right? Because I don't care, like, whatever. If you're a basketball player and you love the game, you're gonna play hard, no matter what anybody else is. So you can't say, "Oh, I'm not gonna play hard" if Kevin Durant not playing hard. Because what you can do if you Luka or if you the Joker, you can go out there, you can play hard. It don't have nothing to do with somebody else's effort, right? So call out everybody, not just the American players. I think it's a double. So I kind of get what Kevin Durant is saying right here. And if those guys are not playing hard, then you got to call them all out.
And you could read between the lines and you'd be wrong, because guess what?
What?
Even before those guys showed up and became this has stopped a long time ago. This didn't stop since Luka and the Joker showed up. You guys have stopped playing way before that. You really have.
Mm-hmm.
When LeBron checked out of this, you know what I mean? And people follow the leader. He's the face of the NBA. When he checked out of this, a lot of players checked out. They didn't want to compete. You talked about it yesterday. When Kobe picked up LeBron at half court, right?
Mhm.
And LeBron immediately gave up the ball and was like, I want no part of this. Dude.
That was strange. It's an
was-
all-star game. Crowd's
Yes.
excited. Kobe slaps the ground. He's ready to go.
Let's go.
Everybody
I'ma stop
stands
you.
up. Even the players stood up on
Right.
the bench like, all right. Oh, wait.
Let's see our moment.
What? Why'd he pass? They didn't double team him, nothing. Yeah, that was strange. Camden.
That was, now I can agree with Rob Parker right there, right? So that is the turning point of the NBA, right? But like I said, I made in other videos that I made, like, you have to come into the NBA, you have to know the history of the NBA, right? And so if you know the history and like those guys, any guys who come from, I don't care where you come from, Europe, or if you're from America and you know the history of the game, and you get to watch all-star games and you know how they played back in the day, you know, like the first 3 quarters, it was showtime. And then that fourth quarter, it was about, you know, what Kobe did, smacking the floor, everybody, let's go. You know, but you don't have to, you know, I think that falls on everybody. It falls on LeBron. It falls on all the guys who follow LeBron, and it falls on the league, right? And part of what I think is going to make the All-Star game is going to make the All-Star game competitive again is the regular season is going to be competitive. Like when you have teams who are chippy with each other and teams who like you have rivalries and stuff like that, that's going to bleed over into the All-Star game. You know, and the fans will have more excitement about seeing certain guys from the East who battle all season. They'll get to play with each other for one game and go up against guys the same way on the West who beat each other up during the season. They get to play with each other for one game, right? And that pride will bleed over again into the All-Star game. But you don't have during the regular season, if you don't have any rivalries, and you don't have guys like getting chippy with each other, going back like recently you had Detroit and Charlotte, you know, got into a fight. And you're starting to see that around the league. You want to see that passion. That's going to bleed over into the All-Star games. You're going to have residual effects from that into the All-Star game, right? So that's, you know, that'll take care of itself, in my opinion.
Right.
But that's where I think Kevin Durant is missing the point, is that NBA fans have felt cheated for a while now. And it ain't going to be the European, the Johnny-come-latelys. They're a big part of the league. Mm-hmm. I get what Kevin Durant's saying. They don't set the tone here.
All right, so if they're going to be a big part of the league and you get what Kevin Durant is saying, then how can you not acknowledge that there is some truth to what he's saying, right? You know, I just don't think you can have it both ways.
American players set the tone in the NBA. KD, what are you talking about? Can you replay any interviews from Luka Doncic or from the Joker? They're not saying anything about the NBA. Nobody goes and asks them why. It's about the American players.
It's about the NBA players. You know, like I said, if they want to be the best in the league, then and that position is right there. If it's open for them to take charge of the league, then they can do that, right? If American players are not stepping up, then they have the opportunity to do that. They can be like what Kobe, you know, and smack the floor at half court and challenge the opponent, right? And if the opponent turn it down, then they just get abused, you know, but they don't have to. I mean, you know, like those leadership positions are not given all the time. You take leadership, right? And so if they want to be amongst the best in the league, then they got to do the same things that everybody else do. But I think that not to let Kevin Durant off the hook, but if you challenge Kevin Durant and he don't step up to the challenge, then you know what I mean? He get exposed the same way like what LeBron, he got challenged by Kobe. He didn't step up, and so that exposed him. And even though that was way back, and I think in like 2014 or something like that, here we are 12 years later, and that still haunts him. So nobody, you know, people are going to step up to the challenge when something like that happens. You know, all you can do is just have pride in your game, have confidence in your game, and go back at the person that's going at you. Challenge the person who challenged you. I think If LeBron James had stepped up to that challenge with Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, if he had any type of confidence, like Kobe really, if he could post Kobe up, or he could have found ways to be effective against Kobe. He could have passed the ball to somebody and took Kobe down on the low blocks. If he didn't have confidence in his ability to break Kobe down off the dribble, and he was like, "Oh, okay, you want to see me? See me where I'm strong at. Take him down on the blocks, and what can Kobe do with him? Or whatever you strong at, you gotta play to your advantage." And the fans would have bought into that, and that would have helped LeBron James' confidence and his legacy and all and everything like that. So it's up to everybody in the league to step up. But that player empowerment part of the game, I think, is what made the league soft. Part of what made the league soft. And now you see the league is getting back to what it was what it was in the game, what it was back in the day. If you got certain teams that will dominate you and run through you if you don't play them. And that's what Detroit is, right? Detroit will run through you if you don't step up and you don't have some pride in your game. Let me see. What's the other team? OKC, they'll dominate you and run through you. The Spurs, the Boston Celtics, like you got teams that will just embarrass you if and if you want to lay down for them, that's going to be on you, but you will get you will get exposed. I think other teams are going to start stepping up because like Charlotte did, because they don't want, they have pride. If you keep getting embarrassed or you're not willing to fight or play hard, then it's getting to the point now that you won't even be in the league. The league is not going to be as soft like it was, the last few years. So let me see what else Rob Parker got to say. But if Kevin Durant was lying, then Rob Parker should say he was lying. But you just can't say what, everybody is getting called out.
You set the standard. This is an American league. If you were playing in Europe, they wouldn't go to you, KD, and ask you. This is about America. And this is why you get the smoke.
Ooh.
This is your league. This is our league in the United States. Even in the baseball, nobody's going to Ohtani to ask him what's wrong with Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I just disagree with like his reasoning on that. I just think that if you have any kind of success in any league, they're going to ask you certain questions. And once you become somebody in the league who's the face of the league, I don't care what league you play. Like when Lance Armstrong was winning all those Tour de France's, right? People wanted to speak to Lance Armstrong about bike racing. So whatever you're doing, once you become the face of it, then people, Wayne Gretzky, you talk about hockey, then people go to Wayne Gretzky or whoever was popular in hockey. So, but Kevin Durant, just all he's saying is, don't blame me, blame everybody. Don't call out just me, call out everybody. And the thing about that, just say that, if they go with what Rob Parker suggesting, just call out the American players, right? And what's going to happen is if you don't challenge the foreign ball players and they feel like they're getting off the hook, then they don't have to step up and they don't have to play defense. Then they are going to be the ones that get embarrassed and stuff like that. Those are going to be the guys who feel like, well, I don't have to play defense because it's not up to me. And so it'll just show, I don't have a problem with, I think, people challenging people like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Luka, what's the other guy, and the Joker. It just make all those guys know that they got to step up as professional basketball players, as NBA basketball players, right? And Kevin Durant just say, well, don't blame me. It's on all of us. So kind of agree with Kevin Durant. Rob Parker can't let, because you're foreign basketball, you still representing the NBA. So you can't let those guys off the hook. And that's my take on it, man. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.